Live from the Studio B here in the Annenberg School here at USC. This is the Talk of Troy, where we talk a big game but have even bigger opinions. I'm Kyle. You guys have seen me before, but we haven't seen a new host here today, so you got to introduce yourself, man.
What's up, y'all? I'm Tyler Liu, LUU62, Big Steppin'. Don't need to check me on that. That's what's up. Coming in.
Hey, you know what it is. Yeah. We like the energy. So we got
Oh,
Tyler here on the Monday show. And, you know, last semester I was on the Wednesday show. I'm on the Monday show now. So we got Tyler. We obviously got to talk about the biggest thing that's happening right now in sports. It is the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are saying the Seahawks versus Patriots. Some are saying the U.S. Seahawks because of how many players are on the Seahawks now, including Sam Darnold, who's going to be the first player to start in a Super Bowl. So I want to ask you, who is your pick? Who do you got taking this game up in Santa Clara?
As both a ball knower and as a Niners fan, give me the Pats. I won't see Seahawks winning. I think the lights are too bright for Sam Darnold, and Drake May is taking it all the way.
Okay, I got to say that's a little interesting. I mean, also Darnold did play for the 49ers, so he's going back up in the Levi Stadium, a familiar place that he's seen. I think look, I had Darnold. I had the Seahawks, but something is bothering me because as a person who follows gambling, follows Vegas,
of course,
follows the lines, one thing I noticed with the World Series this past year with the Dodgers and Blue Jays is everyone was betting on the Blue Jays to win. Now, something I'm seeing that is very similar to this is a lot of people are betting on the Seahawks to win.
Yeah.
Now, when you look at it, is when all the money's on the Seahawks, and I think this always happens. It sure does when it comes to Vegas. That the opposite happens.
Some good old Vegas theory.
Right now they got the Seahawks favored -4.5.
Yeah.
My gut is telling me to still go with the Seahawks, but I just have a strange feeling. Despite Drake May's performance in the AFC Championship game against the Broncos, they only had 10 points, 86 passing yards. You could say whatever, but I have an interesting feeling this is going to be closer than a lot of people, but I'm still going with the Seahawks. I think, look, they've been the number one defense all year. They've only allowed, I think, 16.6 points a game so far this season. They had Darnold, who was really just kind of reinvented himself after being a career backup. But at least for you, what's the determining factor that you see? Is it just Darnold? Is it the defense, offense, or what do you see from the Patriots side?
I see from the Patriots, I just see like a greater depth of offense, in my opinion. I think when you look at Sam Darnold and who he's dealing with, JSN's an amazing player. Like, I don't think it's crazy to say future Hall of Famer, but if the Seahawks do win, it's Walker getting the MVP. I don't think it's Sam Darnold pulling it off. I think it's Walker. It's the run game. It's the established, just like grind and go with the Seahawks pulling through with that. And I think especially because if you're looking at the Patriots defense right now, if they have a team at like 3rd and long, they're basically holding them off. They're not giving them anything. So it's really just going to come down to Seahawks run game, Kubiak getting like real creative with like motions and shifts like that. But I think the Patriots can pull it off. I think if you're looking for young energy talent attacking a bowl game in a very fearless way, I think you're looking at, Drake May hasn't had a stellar playoff season so far, but I think you're going to see him like bring the heat and show up there. I think in a similar way that Brock Purdy in the Super Bowl like dealt it fearlessly, didn't have like crazy mistakes or anything. He was out there, he was in his bag. Same thing with a young guy out of Drake May.
I gotta say, at first, look, when Drake May got drafted, I was like, "Who's this kid? He's from UNC. He's not gonna do much." I really was just like, I get it. He was a top 5 draft pick with Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels, but his first season was kind of rough. But I will say, he has reinvented himself this year. Became an MVP candidate. I still think Stafford's gonna win the MVP.
I still think Stafford's gonna win the MVP.
He's had a phenomenal season, but I just think this Patriots team. I like they've been good all year, along with the Seahawks. Like, this is 1 and 2. This is top 2. But I think with that Seahawks defense, I mean, they've been number 1 in the league all year. They also have the 5th most total takeaways in the league. I think it's like 25.
Yeah.
So when you have all these expectations for this team and they're going on the highest stage and the highest level of the NFL, someone's gonna perform and someone isn't.
Someone's gonna.
And right now, I don't know really who that is. I really don't. I think. With each of these teams, they all have their issues. They all have their problems. But I think Sam Darnold has not had a mistake game yet. And typically, he is known for having those.
And I will give credit to Kubiak on that one because he's figured out, I'm not going to have Sam throw the deep ball. I'm just going to have these short options. I'm going to have JSN do his thing, Walker do his things. I'm going to find Bobo, Barner. Like, these are the type of plays.
Yeah, they have weapons.
I think the slip up of the Seahawks is if they get put in an uncomfortable situation early with the Patriots. I think the Patriots D-line is something to be reckoned with as well if they can get the pressure there. Just get Sam slightly uncomfortable, and I think the game plan starts to unravel for there. And if they start to get a little bit too tricky and do all like these like different play options or look for like crazy passes down the field, I think that's where it starts to get away. I think with the Seahawks, it's just stick to the fundamentals, stick to what got you here in the first place. And if they can execute on a great run game, like, it's pretty much.
I think for Darnold is, I'm looking at last year, and obviously, look, I'm rooting for Darnold, SC guy. I got to root for him. I mean, I've been pulling for this dude since 2017, 2018,
sure.
when he got in the league. I mean, he was called a career backup, and now when you look at him, last year, it was 2 games that stuck out to me.
Yeah.
The first game was for the division for the NFC North.
Yeah.
And they didn't win. It was against the Lions, I do believe. But it was like the Lions, the Packers, the Vikings. They all had the same record, only lost like a couple games.
Yeah.
And it was for number 1 seed. He didn't get it.
Nope.
Then he falls to the wild card, first round. They play the Rams in Arizona. Darnold does not have a good game. Yeah. And the Vikings lose out the first round when they're highly anticipated to go deep in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that scares me. Now, I was thinking about this heading into this season where when they played the Rams the first time, Darnold had 4 interceptions at SoFi.
He did.
And the Rams won by 2 points, 21-19.
Yep.
They played him again. Rams lost that game in overtime. Okay, cool. Now going into this past NFC Championship game, I thought he was going to have that game that everyone has been waiting for him to have.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if he's going to have that game in the Super Bowl because he didn't have it in the NFC Championship.
I honestly don't know either because, like, looking at him, he's comfortable early, and you got him comfortable enough. You didn't, like, get the guy rattled or anything. But something about the Super Bowl, like, maybe it's just me being, like, a hater as a Niners, but I can't fathom, like, Sam Darnold walking out of Levi's with the trophy in his hand.
Well, I mean, he played for the 49ers, so you don't got no love for him?
He was on the bench. Like I got kind of love for him. I love to see a guy go from like a bench position to like re-elevating a stock. Like any quarterback who has been on the Jets and has made it out, like props to them. Like they escaped purgatory.
Hey, shout out you.
Shout out to them. But on top of that, though, I just don't see. I can't see him as the star guy who is going to. He's going to have to, like you said, play the best game that he has ever played out there with them. Because a lot of the times it is that Seahawks defense getting the stops. It's that Seahawks defense getting the turnovers, forcing the uncomfortable plays. Now, granted, that last 4th down play, I think it was at the end zone with Lawrence. Lawrence did not mean to drop back into coverage. He did not mean to make that. But maybe football god is on their side. Like, who knows?
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, the chips are gonna fall where they fall, and it's a matter of who's gonna pick them up or not. But also, as this NFL season comes to an end, there's another sport that's nearing the end of their season, or actually in the middle of it. But as we head into All-Star Week, and that's the NBA. True. But we have to talk about, I would say, the most trending news right now with a player who has kind of talked about majority of his career and just decides to do the unusual at the end of it, and that is Paul George, who will now have a 25-game suspension here on a team that I forgot he was on for the Philadelphia 76ers. Look, this is my thing. This dude, at one point, was one of the most talked about players in the NBA. He's been in the league for about 14 years.
Naturally.
And 2017, NBA 2K17 is the best 2K. He was on the cover of that. And I think his career on the Pacers, okay, he left that. Then now he goes to Oklahoma City with Carmelo Anthony and all. Doesn't do nothing there. Then he goes to the Clippers. Supposed to have a super team. All these players with Kawhi. Doesn't do nothing there.
Yeah.
And then he starts having more podcasts than he is actually playing the games. And then he goes to the 76ers. And honestly, I'm just seeing him do this. Fall way off the charts, especially somebody who was a NBA player, but that was heavily talked about, and at one point was one of the top players in the league. And now He's going to be like he's single-handedly like ruining his career by having 25 games, and even the ones that he barely played in was averaging under 10 points. Like, dude, you ain't contributing nothing now. Yeah. So it's like at this point, you can do whatever. And honestly, this is just a nail in the coffin. Like, he's done. Like, he's cooked. Like hibachi.
Yeah, like ever since last year, I was looking at this guy and I was just like, the easiest lock of the century is just fade PG, fade PG, fade PG. And I think it was the funniest thing ever that the league saw him drop, what was it, like 9 threes, and they're like, yeah, immediately go check him on that. It was crazy.
Another reason why I don't prefer this guy is because he sold my parlay.
He's sold so many.
I had a chance to win $500, and the one time this dude didn't average 25 points in a month. And I pick him to go under 25. This dude drops 35 and decides to have the best game of his career. And all of a sudden, now he wants to do these drugs, as we say. Definitely don't do those. But wants to do these drugs, and now he wants to just kill his career. Like 25 games for a 76ers team where they don't even need him. Listen, they don't need him.
I think if you're looking at it from his standpoint, maybe taking drugs maybe it's an out. Maybe it's more time to the podcast.
He needs that because he needs some more time to go sit down, talk about his thoughts, get off the court because it's over for him.
He's definitely. I don't know what his legacy is gonna look like after this. If I had to like tell you something, like
that just tarnished it.
Yeah, it really did. And in my mind, like I look at PG the same way I look at like Geno Smith was to the Raiders, is like how he was like to like the Thunder or Clippers, where it's like supposed to be like your guy, but he'll be forever known as, oh, you were just the transitional guy that got us our franchise goat or franchise player. OKC has SGA, you're gonna have Fernando Mendoza. Yeah. Like shout out to Geno for the tank off.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I just it really hurts to see players like that have like that aura, that potential, really just start to devolve into this. And maybe that's a product of like the current sports landscape we're in, where it's just like you got to build your brand, and that's why we're seeing like more of these like solo players, these like guys that are like starting podcasts and really focusing on like, you know, logos and advertising and things like that rather than the game. But it's like, what was he going to do on the 76ers anyways? Like, exactly. Whether he dropped these points or not. And
as quiet as it's kept, Kyle Lowry's days are getting number 2.
Yeah, they really are.
They really are. And for Paul George, what has he done? What has he done for the 76ers? Like, if somebody could really tell me, like, as far as I'm concerned, if I'm that front office, look, I got my future superstars. That's Maxey and VJ Edgecombe, and we start building around them because for this dude to just not only does that happen to Paul George as himself, but also as the 76ers organization, as they're currently trying to rebuild themselves. You just got a great pick in the draft. And, well, at least coming out of the draft was phenomenal. And you're going to be recognized from one of the organizations that had a player who had a performance enhancing different ideas of what he wanted to do. But that's just how the dice is going to roll for them. And honestly, for Paul George, he just needs to give it up and go sit down somewhere.
Amen. No love for Jared McCain in there.
Yeah. See, Jared McCain. Look. Speaking of Jared McCain, look, he's great. Yeah. I think he just needed some work. And I think that's what he's been working on. I've been watching his YouTube. But, I mean, he's a guy, look, when it comes to YouTube content and basketball, I think he's able to balance it. He's been balancing since he was like 12.
That's what's up.
When he was running around with a whole afro. Like, he's fine. But also, like, for Jared McCain and the 76ers, like, he reminds me of, like, the Caleb Williams of the NBA.
That's a pretty fair comp in my opinion.
Not off of his ability, but simply because how he presents himself.
Yeah.
Simply because how he presents himself. He doesn't really care. He doesn't really care what other people think. He's gonna do him. He's gonna keep doing it.
He's gonna own it. He's gonna go
and he's gonna perform.
Yeah.
To the best of his ability. But he knows like when he needs help, what he needs to work on.
Yeah.
And he does that. But speaking of basketball, and we were on the East Coast, so we gotta go to the West Coast.
Yeah.
It's officially today was the 1-year anniversary of one of the greatest trades in the NBA. And that is Luka Doncic coming to the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, you can... Okay, enough with the Microsoft sounds back there. But look, Luka coming to the Lakers, I know people could say whatever. Honestly, aside from being biased here, I think it was great. Look, since he's been on the Lakers, he's averaged 31. He's averaged 8 assists since he got that contract. Yeah. And honestly, it's been kind of rough trying to sign around him. Some players not doing their job. LeBron's on his way out. I think LeBron's going to retire and just not tell nobody. He's also not a starter this year.
No retirement tour?
Here's the thing with LeBron. You know what I think he's going to do? He's going to be like this. All right, y'all. That was it. I'm done. And LeBron is just that type of guy to do that. He's just that type of guy to be like, all right, yeah, that was my last year. We're going to call it quits. That's it. But I think when you look at a guy like Luka, like yes, he can't play defense, but this is also a guy that can get you damn near almost 40 points. And it's like if you're the Lakers, you'd really just like try to build around that. Like you have DeAndre Ayton, who ain't dominating nothing besides his own seat. Like his own seat on the bench. And because honestly, he ain't getting no boards. Somebody else is out there getting them for him.
Bro, Ayton and Smart, like you got guys in theory they're supposed to do their thing. But
like 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Appreciate you.
Can't dribble a ball to save their life now.
That's a pick. But then it's
really
like
is.
With Austin Reeves out, you can't get nobody to help him. And then it's like you got LeBron who's over there talking to his buddies on the sidelines. He's already on the golf course in the next DraftKings commercial with Kevin Hart. He's out of there.
I think what you're looking at with Luka is I think it'll be another couple of years before you see a Lakers where you're like, yeah, that's like a championship team, right?
Yeah, and honestly, the Western Conference is by far harder than the Eastern.
Definitely. They're like, there's no doubt about it. Like, if you look at like all the power is in the West, the East right now, it's like, what are they going to put forward? Like the Knicks or something, and like you hope that they do it out there. But
the Western Conference, like the Lakers are 6, or at least last night against the Knicks, they were 6. Before that, 6 in the Western Conference before that game. But also with the Western Conference, like there's so many teams that are just like only a couple games back.
Yeah.
To where it's like they're all fighting for the number one spot. And when you mention teams like the Spurs, the Rockets, the Timberwolves, the Thunder, like the Lakers,
Nuggets,
the Nuggets, like it's a dogfight once it goes past March and into April and May. It's like you're really fighting. And I just don't think the Lakers really have the overall depth on the roster, on the bench. And yes, Luka get you 40, but coming from a realistic Lakers fan, he can't do it all by himself. And honestly, we'll see where LeBron ends up at the end of the season, but you got to look forward to the future.
Yeah, like as a Warriors guy and like having to go up against Luka, like
crazy.
Honestly, like I was there at the opening season game, the first game to see the Warriors versus Lakers.
Yeah, me too.
And it was crazy what Luka was able to do with like a bag of chips on his team.
Yeah.
And like arguably, like maybe he plays a little better without LeBron on the court. Like not that LeBron is like washed or anything, but it's just you need to make room for someone else to like move in there and be your guy to grow the franchise. Also, by the way, do you have Dash Pass, by the way?
No, I don't think so.
If you had Dash Pass, first of all, Adam Silver is not a man of the people, because if you had Dash Pass, what used to happen is if a player dropped a 50 bomb, you get 50% off your next order. Now it's only $5. Dude, Adam Silver, like, what's going on here? Like,
I didn't even know about that. That's
Luka,
crazy.
by the way, as a Warriors fan, didn't really like him that much, but he was still feeding families. He was still feeding me. But like now we don't got that anymore. So
I see.
We gotta fix that.
I mean, yeah.
By the way, guys, according to Jake Fisher, the Lakers and LeBron are ready to move away from each other. So they're ready to move away.
Oh yeah, but
Just
here's
wanted
the
you guys
thing.
to know.
Here's the thing. Look, I know. Look, I've enjoyed LeBron being here since 2018.
Yeah, fair.
Look, we've gotten one championship. Should have been 2.
Bubble.
But
didn't count.
oh, wait a minute. That definitely did count. But
It didn't.
Yes, it did, because look, there's no fans, there's no home court advantage. It's one-on-one.
And there's no memories of it. It's like there's no nothing. We'll erase it.
If I guarantee you, if that was any other team, any other team besides the Lakers, no one would care. If it was the Warriors, no one would care. I guarantee no one would be like, oh yeah, it's not a bubble. It's just Curry's foot.
No, like there would still definitely be hate toss the Warriors.
There would be, but if LeBron wasn't on the Lakers and Anthony Davis wasn't on the Lakers and they didn't win that championship, I guarantee you, no one else would be criticizing the Lakers for that championship as much as everyone else is. But I think for the Lakers, look, LeBron, I've enjoyed him being here, but he knows he's done. He knows that even if he goes somewhere else, what else is he going to contribute? Only team I see him going to really is honestly the Cavaliers.
Quick question.
Coming back.
Does LeBron James deserve a Lakers statue?
No.
Here's the thing. Does he deserve one? I don't know. The reason why he's going to get one, I'm going to tell you why he's going to get one. One, he brought a championship. You can call it what it is. It's still a ring. And 2, he broke the scoring record in a Lakers uniform against Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So he's going to get one simply for that.
They'll give him a bust, like bare minimum.
They'll simply give him one for that, and then I think he was a Finals MVP in 2020. Was he Finals MVP?
I don't know about that.
I believe he was. Like they'll simply give him for that, because like yes, he's played 8 years now for the Lakers. Like they're gonna give him a statue because he broke the scoring record. He broke Kareem's record at Crypto in a Lakers uniform. call it what it is, but that's just what they do. Now they're running out of space. Honestly, I mean, LA Live's kind of getting a little bit crowded over there by crypto. But I mean, it's one more. It might be in 6. It might be 23. But I think you don't have to. But like knowing them, they're probably gonna do that.
Yeah,
especially if you're a taker. Yeah, they'll give it to him. But we'll see what happens. I just think if he ends up one more place, if it's not the Lakers, it's gonna be the Cavs.
Yeah.
You saw this dude was he had Niagara Falls down his face at Cleveland when he went to go visit them.
He's gonna find his way
So
back home.
that was very emotional for him.
Yeah.
And this is honestly crazy. I thought about this when LeBron James debuted the Cavaliers uniform in 2008 or 9. That night, the Cavaliers had a throwback to that uniform when they played the Lakers.
Oh wow.
That's insane. Like they wore the throwback to the jersey that LeBron James debuted in Cleveland.
Hey, he's the king.
Like, I mean, that just kind of has to show you how long this dude has been in there. But Father Time hasn't caught up to him yet. He's still doing tomahawks. But
ridiculous.
I think, speaking of the Lakers, we got to go to the Dodgers. We have to talk about the Dodgers. Tyler, you're a Bay Area fan. You're a Giants fan, right?
Dude.
You're a Giants fan, so
yes.
So I have to ask him this question. This is honestly inevitable. So, do you believe that all these things that are happening right now within the MLB, all these players going to different places, Kyle Tucker going to the Dodgers, Edwin Diaz going to the Dodgers, do you believe that the Dodgers are ruining baseball?
Bro, is water wet? Are trees green? What are we talking about here? The fact that you have not only the ability to sign all of these guys, but also have this deferred payment contract where it's we'll get it to you eventually, just to keep signing and signing and signing. It's ridiculous. Okay, as a Warriors fan, I understand what it feels like to break the league. It feels good. It feels fun. You're out there, you're balling out. But baseball is in the same position that the NBA was at in 2017 and 2018, where you're preying on injuries, you're praying for luck, and it's just best case scenario is maybe Shohei's out, maybe Snell's out, maybe Yamamoto's out. That you have enough guys sitting on the Dodgers for enough of a period of a time, and then you sneak your way in. As a Giants fan, what hope do we have at winning the West? There is none.
You really don't. But here's why the Dodgers aren't. Because this is why. The reason why the Dodgers are not ruining baseball is simply because of their ownership. Now, when you talk about the ownership and you talk about baseball is probably the only sport that doesn't have a salary cap.
Yeah.
It does not have a salary cap. And baseball is the only sport where the money is guaranteed. So, when you look at it strategically, okay, let's be what's his name, Mark Walter right now. If I sign Shohei Ohtani to an $800 million contract and I defer all of his money 10 years from now, I know with this guy that I'm going to make more money than his contract will be worth in 10 years simply because of the audience I'm going to reach, the World Series I'll probably win, how much I'm going to make off of that by simply just investing in their player. Now, I think here's the thing is that the Dodgers, this has only happened since 2020, since they won the World Series in 2020. Because before that, 2017, terrible, lost to the Astros. 2018, lost to the Red Sox. Before that, they went to the postseason almost every year since 2010. But the issue with that was, who are they getting cooked by in the postseason? The Cardinals, the Giants. The Giants won 3 World Series in the spans of 6 years? So it's so when you think about it, it's been different eras, but also since 2000 to 2010, the Dodgers did not run Los Angeles. They did not.
That's fair.
It was simply the Angels. I will tell it to anybody. The Angels ran LA and they ran Anaheim because 2002 they went to the World Series, played the Giants. They had what's his face, Weaver, Cole Calhoun, Mike Trout, whatever. But now, I think that since it's Los Angeles, same thing with the Yankees, but the Yankees haven't gotten over the hump. But simply because it's the Dodgers, and now all of their players that are on that team have been in division rivals or have played them in the World Series, and they haven't beaten them. It's if you can't beat them, you might as well just join them.
Dude, okay, but first of all, it was so funny how when Shohei was first signed to the Dodgers, they acted like this was his first time in LA, as if he wasn't with the Angels.
Exactly. And he was with the Angels for 6 years. In first year with the Dodgers, he wins the World Series.
But what I'm saying is it's you can't just say it's ownership, because what chance did the Angels have of retaining him if the Dodgers are contract? What chance do a team like the Tigers have Screwball? I wouldn't be surprised if he finds his way to the Dodgers anytime soon without this cap.
He probably won't. But my issue is here's the thing is Guggenheim put all their money together simply for this reason. And I think when you have other owners, for instance, Pirates or the Reds or some garbage team or the Marlins, is their owners don't want to spend their money and they don't have sponsors to sponsor them.
Okay, maybe you have like some owners that are bad, but it's like even if a team were to go all in to build like a god squad to try and compete against the Dodgers, like on the off chance it doesn't happen, then it's like they've mortgaged like their future 20, 30 years down the line. Like bare minimum, take away all this deferred payment stuff, like have them paid out front. It makes no sense to me that you can build your entire future off of just like, oh, like let's wave it in, big market team, make all this money now. No chance for anyone else.
And here's the thing is that a lot of people are forgetting that the Dodgers don't even have the highest payroll in baseball, and it's actually the Mets. And the Dodgers weren't the number 1 team in the league last year, and it was actually the Brewers. Just so happens the chips fell right in the Dodgers' lap, and they collected all of them. Collected all of them, and it fell where they fell. And honestly, they weren't supposed to win the World Series. I will say that they were not. I thought my goose was cooked in Game 6. I thought Snell was selling it, but he found a way to come out victorious, and ultimately, I mean, it's worked out for him. This dude, look at Snell for example. This dude played in Tampa Bay, had one of his best games of his career, got taken out in the 6th inning, and that was the game, honestly, that probably could have kept him in that World Series. So then he plays for him, all right, realizes he can't win nothing with the Rays, goes to the Padres, a division rival of the Dodgers, realizes he can beat them sometimes, but he can't beat them all the time. Then he goes to the Giants. Giants have one of their worst seasons ever. Then he's like, all right, you know what? I played these dudes 3 times on 3 different teams. I might as well join them.
So he's a sellout.
You can sell out, but he's a World Series champion now, first year, and he'll probably do it again this year.
Yeah, but that kind of thing shouldn't happen where the Dodgers can keep stacking players and stacking players. You forget that the Brewers were number 1 because Shohei wasn't pitching at the time, Snell wasn't pitching at the time, and they had a good regular season. But when you have a team that can turn up like that in the post, granted, the Mets, Soto, bad year. I don't think the organizations that fantastically run. But even other teams that are bigger market, like the Giants, we have no chance at competing with the Dodgers when we don't have that kind of money to sign the powerhouse that they do. I really hope Devers turns out that would be amazing for us. I love to see that. But we're not going to have the same pitching staff that y'all have. We're not going to have the same relieving staff. It's ridiculous to see the Dodgers do what they do.
We only use 4 starting pitchers in the World Series.
Oh my god!
4 starting pitchers, and then guess what? Here's the thing. I think with every other team, they've had their time. The Giants had their time, 2010 to 2015.
Yeah, we did it the right way.
But see, that's also investing in the player, in getting the players, signing the contracts, keeping them there. And the Dodgers are doing that. They're making sure ain't nobody going nowhere under my watch. And honestly, that's what you have to, if you're an organization, the only reason for you to get return on your investment is if you invest. And you got to invest in something. And honestly, for Ohtani to go to the Dodgers, because that sparked it all, that sparked their fan base in Japan, in Asia, and then they just kept building off that, getting Japanese players, and they didn't even really, I don't think no other MLB team was really looking at it that heavily. Yes, there's been Japanese players in the MLB. Well,
you had Suzuki.
But as I'm saying, you had Suzuki and you had some other guys. But this heavily, now everyone's going over there and all right, we got to compete with them because now all the fan base is taking over for the Dodgers or anywhere else. But for Mark Walter, it's I think he just did something that a lot of people wanted the Dodgers to win. They got to the World Series, they lost twice. The Red Sox had their time. The Yankees had their time. The Giants had their time. The Cardinals at one point were really good. The Rangers, they had their time in 2023. But it's for the Dodgers to go back to back, second year was way more luckier than the first.
But when you can go into every single season and just show up as that force, they've exploited the system. It's time to patch it, in my opinion. And by the way, I hate the Game 7 comparison between Bumgarner and Yamamoto. It should not. What Bumgarner did is way more impressive than whatever couple of closeout innings he was able to do. Not to take away from the guy's talent or anything, but it's still a problem nonetheless. How can you say that 1, baseball's already dying, 2, how are you going to say the sport has a future moving forward and just say hey, owners, y'all can spend a little bit more than you have to right
now? Realistically, I think all it takes is one person to try to compete with them. Because before the Dodgers was the Yankees, they were the Goliath that no one could knock down.
Bad team chemistry.
And honestly, with the Dodgers, yes, they're good, but I think I will say this as a Dodger fan. Unfortunately, with everything is every dynasty comes to an end. You look at the Warriors, you look at the Patriots, you look at the Chiefs. Like, Chiefs didn't even make the playoffs this year. And so it's like with the Dodgers, I'm good. I'm good. We got 2. I'll take another 2 more, and then like we'll go on a break, and then we'll be straight. And then it's like, all right, you made up for all the years we lost.
And the dynasty has to be put away with the salary cap and end to this.
But you can't adjust the game when the game has never been adjusted.
Like, there's an exploit right now. Patch it over. Like, baseball is unwatchable.
Well, we'll see what happens. You guys know how I feel. You know how Tyler feels. We'll see if it all plays out. Yeah. But that's all we got for here on A Block. And we'll see you guys coming up on the next block with, I believe it's Tony and... No, it's actually, excuse me, Nolan and Tate. Yeah. We'll see you next.
See you on the flip side.
Sunset easy in the sky, shadow short, type slide by. Windows open, city breeze, nothing heavy on me. Cup half full, hands relax. Good vibe, high than simple facts. No rush, start, no delay. The afternoon feel okay. Easy smile, feel it stay. Good groove, lit, don't wait. No plan, no me, just a feeling. Easy smile all around, light bound.
Nolan with Tate. Tate, I don't think we've ever met before. We're doing this show together, so excited to be doing this with you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I mean, it's always a joy seeing you and Terrence battle it out. It's great to be talking with a great analytical mind like you about all the new stuff going on with college basketball and eligibility. Recent news, Charles Bediako, who was the Alabama center, is now coming back after playing in the G League to Alabama to play center for the first time in 3 years. This opens up a whole can of worms with the NCAA and transfer issues. And I was curious, in your perspective, do you think this is good for the league or bad for the league?
I think, this is kind of something that we've seen overall with college sports. I think we saw it first with football, where college football was starting to become basically the NFL, right? It's a professional league, and now we're seeing this with just the NCAA as a whole. I'm not a fan. I totally understand the perspective of, well, he got drafted in 2023, right? Played 10 games, averaged, I think, 2.3 points a game. He made a mistake, right? He never should have declared for the draft. He was an 18-year-old when he declared. And, yeah, huge mistake. But this is unprecedented. And we're seeing the world of college sports basically become a pro league. And I'm not a fan. I'm a fan more of, accountability. You got to teach any, young college student, hey, don't declare for the draft until you're actually ready to play in the NBA, right? Unless you're Bronny James, where you can kind of get coddled and told, hey, we'll do anything we want and we can to help you succeed. It's not going to turn out very good for you.
I would agree. I think it's a really bad idea, especially with how many players are now considered eligible.
Yeah.
I mean, Amari Bailey, UCLA star player, is now trying to pitch his eligibility to the NCAA, and it's always going to trickle down to a law issue, and with agents being progressively more competitive.
Yes.
And even Pajemski on the Golden State Warriors could be eligible for coming back to college at Santa Clara. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's not like...
That is ridiculous.
And the problem is, where do you draw the line, right? Because Pajemski, absolutely no way. He cannot be... He'd tear up the NCAA, right? That not that he ever would, but you can't let that happen. What's the difference between him and Bailey, right? Like, so you can't draw a line, right? You can't draw a line and say, well, if you played this many games in the NBA, you're not eligible to go back. But if you didn't play this many games or you didn't average this number, right, you can't draw a line. It's a gray area.
Yeah, with Dante Moore also not going to the draft, even though he was projected to be like a top pick.
Yeah,
And
it's supposed to be the second overall pick.
Yeah, football and basketball, completely different sports, and the draft is completely different. But it's choices like that where you're protecting your career. Amari Bailey was quoted saying, "This is no prank. This is no game. I'm going to go back in and show why I'm a winner." And I think that's a huge statement, but it also kind of contradicts, the situation he was put in. He decided to go into the draft. It didn't work out. He didn't get the playing time, and he fell into the G League. And then he's like, yeah, I'm going to come back. I don't think that's necessarily fair, especially with how considerable the age range is getting within collegiate sports. I mean, look at Carson Beck. That guy has been in... I mean, wasn't he playing around with Trevor Lawrence? Trevor Lawrence has been in the playoffs a couple of times. Carson Beck is still in college.
Yep.
And he's already completed his academics. He's talked about it. He went to Miami to follow his girlfriend, and that went so well. But I mean, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, he hasn't
honestly.
been a college student for 2 years. He's not in classes. It's a whole can of worms. You're right. So it opens up a whole can of worms. Something I thought that I found interesting, though, I'm sure I'm not pronouncing his last name right, but James Najayi, and Nnaji is how you spell his last name. He was actually in the same draft class as Amari Bailey, taken 10 picks earlier. Bailey was the 41st pick overall, and this man named James was the 31st pick overall. So he was a 2023 draft pick. And what was interesting for him was he got drafted, and then the rights to him were traded, I think, several times, and never actually played in the NBA, but he played in Europe. And recently he didn't have to go to court or anything. The NCAA allowed him to suit up for Baylor. And so now he's an active player for Baylor. And now this is a whole nother can of worms, right? Well, what happens if you say that you're done with your time in the NCAA, you go play professionally, but not in the NBA? The NCAA has now said that you can come back. Unless you're playing in the NBA, you can come back. There are, especially with basketball, where the big issue here is, with the NFL, just about everyone either goes to the NFL or not. It's kind of do or die, NFL or die. With basketball, a lot of people go Europe, right? A lot of people go Europe and stay there. A lot of people take Europe or overseas as a way to get to the NBA. I mean, there's a million paths you can take after playing college basketball. Does the NCAA really want to die on the hill that if you sign an NBA contract, you can't come back? But if you play anywhere else, it's fine. I don't get that.
I think the NCAA is kind of trying to dip their toes in the water when it comes to the market of sports. I mean, look at all the other sports leagues. They're trying to expand into as many streaming services as possible. They're trying to expand into international games for the NFL. If you look at, for example, James Naji, he played in Europe. Right? So if you were to look at the NBA and the consistency with the top players in the league, a lot of them are not from America. I mean, if you go to France, there are a lot of people who kind of look like Victor Wembanyama. It's not just him. Mm-hmm. If countries like this and basketball institutions take over in these different European areas, it's a whole different game.
Yeah.
And this is just another way to just topple over the tower. It's just one flimsy little NIL deal transfer issue that just knocks everything open, and the door is just open for anyone. And that is scary. for a lot of players, because you got to feel for some players who are actually trying to go against the grain and prove themselves, especially against injuries. There's been a lot of very tragic injuries that have ended careers or cut a lot of careers short, especially with how fast the game is now. With the momentum increase, how fast players are turning, shooting, scoring, defending, injuries are more rampant. Then you're going to have to look at the shoe game. How's the shoe game going to upgrade? Because the whole thing with like when Zion's shoe exploded, that was a whole thing. With more players being injured, it's going to cause a concern for what the shoes they're wearing. And of course, like in the NFL, it's also like the turf and stuff. But it's there's so many things connected, and this is just one of like the lead examples of how dangerous and how open that door is. Speaking of how open that door is, the 2026 NBA draft, who do you think's going number one?
Ooh. Honestly, I have no clue. I haven't kept up with the last even couple of years. I have not kept up at all with mock drafts, NBA or NFL, until the season is over, I guess. I genuinely have no clue. I have no clue what even the mock drafts suggest. Inform me, who are considered the top
Okay,
picks?
I'm glad you asked. Okay, so one of the top picks, who I think a lot of people are also agreeing with, is BYU small forward AJ Bonsta, which is he's the guy with the gunna video you've seen online. I went to AP, sold me the frost, spent $200K, sold me the frost, rainbow face. That's his whole thing. That's like the tank. That's the tank anthem. Like if a team is posting that, if a fan of a team is posting that, they are going into the lottery. Just letting you know. Now, the other top pick, who is currently labeled as number one, is Darren Peterson.
I was going to say.
Who is, and Kansas, I think, just won. They just beat Texas Tech. Kansas is really good right now. Kansas is hot. And I think that is correct. I think Darren Peterson will go number one. I think DeBonsa is good. But I think depending on how important the point guard role is for a lot of these teams in the lottery position.
Yeah.
I mean, it's currently listed as the Hawks. The Hawks just traded away a point guard.
Yeah.
I don't know who, but he must have been pretty big.
I mean, if the Hawks were to end with the number one pick, I think Peterson's the obvious choice in that case. Just because 3-point shooting, I don't know. You if you're the Hawks, I don't know. Like I guess to them, it's, do you view the number one overall pick as a way to replace him, or you just take the best player available? But from my knowledge, Peterson is the best player. Maybe I shouldn't say best player in college, but has the best, the best skill set, I guess, transferable to the NBA. That was my own assessment, though. I'm not sure what any experts have said. I'm not sure what any analysts are saying who've watched all these plays. Watched a little bit of Peterson. I've not watched any BYU. I'll be upfront about that.
BYU sports is quite. It's funny to see them rise. In everything, really. I mean, they had a pretty good shot at the playoffs. I mean, don't even get me started on the whole. Oh, Notre Dame should have been in. They lost to Miami. Like, let's be real. They went to the finals. They had no chance.
Yeah,
but it's so ridiculous. It is so ridiculous for people to just kind of just point blamelessly, basically on who might be the top pick based on like who is related to each other. Like Cameron Boozer, who is he's a big name. He's projected number 3. Dyson Daniels' brother is also a top projected first round pick. There's also some people who actually went through the whole transfer portal. We have Yaxel Lendenborg, who came from UAB, and now he's a star player at Michigan.
Yeah, see, I cannot remember a time in football or basketball, and I'm sure it applies to every other sport. Football and basketball are the ones that really you're going to have a strong following. I cannot remember a time where anyone who has ever played for, at this point, really not a Power 2 school, I guess for basketball, you can pay attention to any power conference, where someone is transferring from a tiny school and is a top pick. I mean, I think that is the one great thing that has happened with NIL and the transfer portal. But every other issue that we've tackled so far, it's horrible. I think it's horrible. And I do want to ask you, I mean, we talked about these players, and I think we're kind of in agreement here. If you're playing in the NBA especially, but probably even declared for the draft, you probably shouldn't be allowed to go back and play for the NCAA. Are we in agreement there?
100%. 100%.
So what is the solution here, do you think? Do you think the solution is just straight up, once you declare for the draft, once you go pro in any country, you're not allowed back in the NCAA?
I think we should open up way more opportunities with different leagues. I mean, the fact that there's a lot of G League potential that has been filtering into like Scoot Henderson, into NBA contention with G Leagues that are not like Unite is like a top tier one. And, you know, Montverde Academy also was like a huge feeder into that. There are so many opportunities. And like I was saying with Europe, you could open up the door. There are so many players who are kind of stealing the spotlight, so to speak. For example, you look at the USC situation. I feel for Rodney Rice, considering how injury prone he is and how he just like he plays really well, considering his whole injury management. But like Chad Baker-Mazara, he's 26. He's a college student like us, and I think that's just odd for me to say. You know, a 6-year age gap is kind of crazy. I mean, that guy goes to Europe. He could blow up.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%. But there's some players where it's just like, you give them the transfer, you give them the spotlight, and they're kind of like fading. And, you know, you look to them because that's the 5-star, 4-star transfer. And it's like, you're supposed to be our number one, and you're playing like a bum.
Yep.
I bet you better start doing your job. I mean, if they go to Europe, they could do so much better. They could have scouts looking at them. They could have a contract guaranteed. Yes, the NBA is the dream, but there's other options. Bayern Munich is popping off in Europe. Barcelona, Madrid. It's an endless cycle where sports is really expanding at such a rapid rate. And I think that the NCAA and those players should 100% take advantage of it.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned CBM. Let's talk USC just for a quick second. Let's stay on the topic of CBM. This question,
I was actually just going to give you guys a quick update. This just in. The Los Angeles Clippers and 11-time All-Star James Harden are working through whether both sides can find a deal by Thursday's NBA trade deadline. Sources tell ESPN both sides are aligned in conversations together and are with interested teams.
James Harden.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, as a Clippers fan, this is, first of all, the last month or so of basketball for the Clippers have been very interesting to me. Because the start of the year, you didn't have great expectations, and then, you know, you had the unction all get injured. It was pretty clear the Clippers were not going to be a playoff team very quickly. Now the Clippers narrowing in on 500, I think 2 games below 500. It seems to me, you're surprised at that, huh? But Clippers,
I did not know that.
Yeah, Clippers for the last couple weeks have always been, I mean, they've been winning about 70-80% of their games.
Okay, but you're losing by 20 right now.
Yeah. Clippers, though, I don't know. Clippers have been blowing out a lot of bad teams, and they've been staying in it with most solid teams. I have thought, though, before the Clippers went on this run, to me, it was clear. You got to rebuild, right? You don't want to wait. You have a couple years left of Kawhi. You got a couple years left of Harden in their, I don't even want to call it prime, but in their, you know, good years. You're not going to win a ring with them, right? You might as well get something for them. But now this is a whole nother issue. Well, the Clippers look like one of the hottest teams in the NBA. We spent so much on the Paul George, Kawhi Leonard duo, trying to make that work. And this is sunk cost fallacy, but still, you spent so much trying to get them to work. And this might be the hottest the Clippers have been since acquiring Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. Now, obviously, Paul George, moot point, but still, this is a really hot team. Now it's a difficult decision. Do you blow it up? Or do you hope that this unction can work for the rest of the season?
Okay, 100% you're rebuilding. I mean, you have the oldest roster in the league by an absolute mile.
But here's the thing then. What are you going to even get? What could you possibly get? And is that better than taking the chance of, hey, you know what? The Clippers look like one of the best teams in the NBA right now. They probably won't look like this at the end of the year, but maybe they will. I mean, what are you going to get if you trade?
I mean, there's so many options out there. And, I mean, looking at the Giannis trade, which we'll talk about the best option of the Knicks later. But there is extreme amount of untapped potential. I feel like I'm a broken record here, but I feel like there's an extreme amount of untapped potential out there in the league. Granted, as a Laker fan, I wish we could, indulge in some of that. But, anyway, I think rebuilding it's curious because who do you rebuild around? After the whole blow up with the Paul George thing to the point where OKC wins a chip, it kind of begs the question where Norman Powell, who also left, is now an all-star. It's like insult to injury. If you're going to get rid of Harden, that's going to be the team he probably finishes on. Yeah. So that team might be gearing for a finals.
Yeah.
If the case, maybe you can get some young players in return as someone who's contending versus someone who's rebuilding.
Yeah. I'd say the same thing for Kawhi.
Yes. I'd say the same thing for Kawhi as well. Kawhi, however, still has some gas left in the tank.
Yeah, absolutely.
Despite being injury prone. I think this is a rebuild season, though. So I think they should probably ease off Kawhi.
Here's the problem. Rebuild season should have been a couple years ago. Right? Like I think once it was clear Kawhi Leonard and Paul George were not going to work, and then once the Clippers lost Paul George, it was clear that's got to be the rebuild, right? Because then you had Kawhi with a couple extra years left in him at that point. Clippers didn't capitalize on that. They didn't. It's better to get rid of Kawhi and Harden and Zubats, anyone that you want, and get something out of them. What are you going to get from Kawhi? Are you really going to get that much for him? Are you really going to get that much for someone in their 30s who misses half of every year? I mean, if you're going to trade him, no, this is the time. I mean, this is a career year. He's putting up like 27 a game. Yeah, I mean, definitely you're going to want to have Kawhi as the last moving block because I think you're going to want to keep Zubac. But like Chris Dunn and Bogdanovic are the backups for the point guard. But so what are you going to get for Dunn or Bogdanovic?
That's weak.
That's the thing.
I mean, I think you just need draft capital. This is one of the biggest draft classes.
Yeah.
I mean, you know who's also cooking up? Tyron Stokes.
Yeah.
Sierra Canyon. That guy. He's good. And, people already have their eyes on him. Everyone who's like kind of like goes to scouts and does like those like 16 AU, 17 AAU tourneys, they know who he is. And all the scouts know who he is. And people are going to love this guy. Like they're going to see his tape. I mean, it is insane. And I think if the Clippers can, let's just say, dare I say, this is a crazy draft, but a lot of their picks are owned by OKC.
Yep.
If they trade Harden back to OKC, that could work. I mean, granted, that would be usage ball central, but it's going to give them a lot of young players, as they have a lot of young players in their roster, which they can like fill. Jay Will is a great center. He doesn't see the floor a lot, but he's a great center. And there's other players who are out there. Cason Wallace, he's pretty good. You can definitely work with that. And you get your picks back and you can gear up for the next draft. I think that might be the best play. Those are the people who have leverage on you. If you can reverse that, but also give OKC a chance to kind of just go like, oh, we can go 2 for 2. Sam Presti might go for that. And I think that's a bit of an ambitious take, but what do the Clippers have to lose?
Yeah, I mean, if only the Clippers had their draft capital and had a young star like SGA, that would just really help the Clippers, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Need SGA on that team. Yeah, I don't know. The Clippers, I do think they could make a trade. It's just you're not going to get that much out of them. Let's talk about bigger trades, though, then, because I think we can both agree the Clippers, given who they've got, they'd probably get the most out of Zubats of anyone just because he's younger, but do you really want to trade him? I don't know. Clippers not in the best position regardless. Let's talk about some teams that perhaps are in a better position. Anyone that's looking to trade for Giannis.
I think 100% the leading team that can get Giannis are the Knicks. Okay. I think it's the Knicks. I mean, people are arguing about the other picks, and they are enticing, but I think the Knicks personally, this is their job. This is their time to break open the Eastern floodgates because there has not really been a powerhouse in the Eastern Conference.
It's wide open.
Yeah, and there hasn't been a powerhouse since like the Celtics, and the Celtics were all about like the system and the 3-ball and passing and all that. There's just power on the Knicks, and there is so much they can work with that. Now, their contracts are a bit crazy. If you go on Fanspo, which is a great trading tool, you can see that Cat is 53 mil compared to Giannis's 54.
Wow.
So, I mean, if that's not telling of the insane amount of draft capital that, or not draft capital, but the salary cap that the Knicks pay their players, like OG Anunoby, 40 million. Jalen Brunson, 35. Mikal Bridges, just recently re-signed 6 months ago, 25 million. Josh Hart, 20. Mitchell Robinson, 13. Like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And the thing is that if they have all this and they trade, let's just say, Cat, OG, or Mikal, I mean, much to the chagrin of someone over here, you're going to get, like, that is bang for your buck.
Oh, yeah,
if
absolutely.
you're the Bucks. But the problem is because they are so pricey, they're going to have to add another team. And I'm thinking maybe Kuzma just goes back to the Nets, because Kuzma, oh boy, 22 million for 2 years. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Miles Turner is also looking to be traded, and they're working to fish him around. That's 25 million.
Huh.
If they can dish Turner out, Giannis is coming.
Oh, yeah.
Because everyone is like, oh, is Giannis going to go before the deadline? We have 4 days. So the question is it going to happen? I think yes. I think if the Bucks don't rebuild in time and don't have enough leverage come draft, like everyone's like, oh, what if you do it after after everything's over and they can get a bunch of draft and just rebuild? That is also an idea. But then Giannis could just, because his contract's ending, he could just be like, yeah, ship me off to Golden State, and you're gonna have to work out a contract.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want to. If I'm John Horst, I don't want my hands tied. I don't want it. That would suck, because the fan base already is not liking what I'm doing, and that would be the nail in the coffin, I think. And I think there's a lot of players they want to honestly move on from. People are not happy with Bobby Portis. People are not happy with Kevin Porter Jr. They like some of the younger players, Ryan Rollins, Gary Trent. But there's so much capital that the Knicks can use. And plus, they have a ton of guards. Jordan Clarkson, Tyler Kolek. I mean, they're pretty safe. So I think, honestly, the best draft, and that I, throughout the weekend, have been cooking up some insane, zany trades. I think it's going to be something along the lines of Karl Anthony Towns, Mikal Bridges, and Yabusele, and a couple extra picks or so for Giannis and I guess his brothers. Giannis might be doing one of those you take me, you take all of us kind of thing, because 2 of his brothers are on there. And I mean, I think that's probably what's going to happen. I don't think there's another option that the Bucks go for a more younger refresh of their whole roster, but then they have to like cut everyone else, or they're going to trade everyone else. And I don't think everyone wants to trade for like Kuzma, because like I wouldn't.
I was going to say.
Guys, who wants Kuzma? Free Kuzma here. No. It's actually not free. It's 22 million.
Yes, I was going to say. Hefty contract. The other teams that have kind of been in circulation, other than obviously the Bucks keeping him, Bulls and Warriors, what do you kind of make of either of those squads going? In terms of, first of all, is it realistic? And also, are they going to benefit?
So, as a Laker fan, I mean, we get kind of a lot of flack for being the more unrealistic when it comes to trades. I think the Warriors have stolen our spotlight here, because who are you going to trade?
Yep.
Kuminga? Like, hello? Oh, yeah. Kuminga. That's our guy. Hey, Giannis. We're all good here. Kuminga's here.
Yeah, if they were going to do that, they'd have to be capitalizing off of, and not really that young anymore, but young talent that I don't think have panned out quite as well as people thought. Pajemski, Kuminga, nothing against them, but there was a lot of hype at some point, and I don't know if you agree. I feel like it's kind of tapered off at some point. I thought these could have been all-stars, like stars. They're not. I don't know. You give up some young talent. There's no reason not to send that. It's like fantasy. There's no reason not to send it, other than it's probably not going to get accepted. You're kind of ripping the other guy off. Why not just send it and hope they click accept? But at some point, you send too many of those offers, and you're going to get blocked.
You just got to get the GM on the phone and just start talking.
Yeah.
I think there's always a business to this. Well, duh. But like, you know, for example, if you're the Warriors, you're gonna be like, you know, this Jimmy Bubble monster guy. Did you see?
Yeah, you throw Bubble in there too.
Yeah, did you see what he did in 2020? Oh my goodness, he's crazy. I mean, yeah, he's hurt, but like, that would be a pretty good power forward replacement. I hear you're moving on from Miles Turner. He's also a center. We can put in a center for ourselves. We have this guy called Draymond. I don't know if you've heard about him. Like, you know, the whole deliberating on what is available, which in the Warriors' standpoint is almost nothing. But it's still a chance. And it's one of those points where it's like, you might as well throw it the lob. You know that photo of Stephen Curry shooting from the moon?
Oh, yeah.
That's like half the teams right now.
Yeah. Well, if you're the Warriors and you're trying to trade for Giannis and you're trading it to a team that presumably would be rebuilding, you know, why not ship them an offer where you're giving two of the oldest guys on your team over there? Yeah, because, you know, what don't the Bucks have to lose for getting Jimmy Buckets and Draymond Green?
Just space.
Yeah.
And if they're already getting out with other players, why not?
Yeah,
You
why
know?
not take some washed stars?
Yeah, take that and some picks, and you are good to go.
Yeah. Knicks probably does make the most sense. I think they've got, of any team that's been in kind of the discussion, I guess, they've got the most, they've got the names to trade. They've got the depth to afford to be able to trade those guys. And it also makes sense for them. Because I think if you trade for Giannis, I mean, you're already a contender. You turn into the pretty clear number one team in the conference.
Yeah.
Right?
And
It's worth it.
That's
it's
a big
worth,
separator.
It's worth the risk.
But, you know, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. This has been Nolan and Tate. Tate, thanks for joining me.
Thank you
First
for having
time,
me.
not the last time, though.
Awesome. Can't wait.
Yeah, wait. We've still got 2 more blocks coming up. We'll see you in 2 minutes.
And welcome back to the Talk of Troy. We're here for our next segment with your boys, Tony and Jonathan, for the first time together on this show. I'm excited. I'm ready to talk ball. I wanted to be at this table with this guy.
Yeah, we've been waiting for this.
I've been waiting
for
this.
time.
I've been waiting for this. I'm ready for the all of the lights type of music for what we got together.
Yes, sir.
I can't wait to give you Knicks hate. I'm ready. I'm ready for it all, man. But lots of stuff going on in the NBA world, man. We just got it off talking about it in the last segment. Might as well just start talking about it right now, man. The Giannis sweepstakes. They're coming up soon, and I think that's coming up this Thursday, where the trade deadline is. I gotta say, man, Giannis for sure is not going to be on this team after this season, but I do think that a move is coming by this Thursday.
Really?
I do. And they talked about it in the last segment, Nolan and Tate, but we got guys like the Warriors, the Knicks, who have kind of dwindled down a little bit in the talks. Minnesota, Miami's in there somewhere. We got maybe even Portland. The Bucks might keep him. I doubt it though. But lots of stuff to talk about. Man, oh man.
Oh yeah, dude. There's a lot. I mean, there is a lot to talk about. Obviously, there was a report from Shams. There was an update about 5 hours ago talking about it. Now, this is, of course, before the James Harden news, so I think that could shake some things up. But
yeah, I know. Crazy. Live here at the booth.
Oh, yeah. He was talking about that the front runners are obviously, like we've been saying, this whole time it's going to be the Warriors, it's going to be Minnesota, it's going to be Miami, and not really the Knicks anymore.
I know.
They were there.
Which, for me, I thought ever since the offseason, because he said that the Knicks were his predetermined team. Now, again, Shams, he said it in a really vague way, and I said this yesterday. Sorry, not yesterday. I said this last Thursday about the whole Giannis and Bucks relationship, where I just feel like, if you ever had that friend that has like the toxic relationship that he kind of reminds you about, where it's just like, hey man, I'm getting back with my girl. Actually, no, we're not really doing anything. We're just kind of off and on, and you're kind of thinking to yourself, man, when do you just need to cut it off?
Yeah.
Because the way that Shams likes to report, and it's different than the way that Woj reports, is that Woj reports based off of the players, but Shams, he likes to report based off of the organization. And I think that it's interesting to see the way that the communication is different, with how vague and how it's not been a clear and cut. Giannis has requested a trade. This has been a developing story within the Bucks and Giannis and figuring out where they want to go. And now it's official that he wants to leave, or is expected to leave. I thought he was going to be a Knick.
Yeah.
I really did.
I mean, I saw those stories on social media, always with him in a Knicks jersey for like the last 2 years. Everyone's like, oh, he's going to be there at some point. It's just a matter of when. And, things got pretty real for a moment there. Now the Knicks, there was I think it was NBC. It was the people who reported that they had slowed off the gas, which, not that they're not pursuing him anymore, but it was they're not going to be as aggressive when going forward, which, as I'm going to say, as a Knicks fan, relieved. Because I have seen this No, hold on. Not saying we don't want Giannis. We'll get there. But I have seen this organization make some boneheaded, in the moment, we're going to send the whole entire world to get X, Y, or Z.
Yeah.
Giannis probably would be the most deserving of those players that they've done that with. Like the 74 picks for Bridges or whatever the hell they did.
Yeah.
I mean,
again, another reason maybe why you're so passionate about keeping Bridges on this team, because you guys gave up so much for him.
Yeah.
I mean, and you never know with the whole Knicks. There was a while back in 2019 where you guys from I want to say since Melo left had a bit of a long-term time where y'all were kind of the joke of the NBA. They even made a bit about it in Seoul.
Yeah, we talked about that. It was just I think the Knicks are the number one. I forget the exact statistics, but they are referenced in more films and in more TV
Madagascar
than any
had a
other
bit,
team
I think,
as losing. Yes, Madagascar has it.
The Knicks lost again.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and that was with Seoul with Doris Burke.
Yeah.
Always doing and the Knicks lose again. It's just.
I mean.
Yeah.
I get why you guys don't want to keep, or why you guys don't want to lose your capital or lose the core guys that you have on your team. But if you look at the record that you guys came out of December 31st, I'm gonna just say January.
Okay.
You guys weren't looking too hot.
No. And that was interesting to me because the Knicks, at least for the last 2 years, have had a team that is you have a big locker room presence. You're usually still trying every game, even when you suck. That's just what happened. Then they win, you win the NBA Cup. Everyone's like, oh, this was the stepping stone, the big jumping off point for them. And it was the opposite, right?
Yeah.
And it was weird for me because it felt like the players were just like, oh, we don't have the answers, and they looked like sluggish. They didn't look like the Knicks. And then funnily enough, as soon as Giannis goes, hey, I'm going to get a trade. I want to be traded. All the players kind of went, job security, I need to play well. And now they're on a big winning streak.
So you think just because Giannis is on the market that the Knicks players are just like, oh, let's start putting up our value a little bit more?
100%. Not for the team. They don't want to leave. I'm sorry. I'm looking at it, okay? The only two players, in my opinion, in the Knicks organization that are safe right now, that would not be traded, Jalen Brunson, of course, he's your captain, and his best friend Josh Hart. Just because they're not going to rip Josh
the heart
away.
and soul of New York,
Yes, but now every other team is on the market, and if you're not playing well and you can get Giannis, I'm sorry, they'll send you away.
They will send you away, and I don't understand why the Knicks are not being as aggressive because. Just say that you don't want him. Don't say that you are not being aggressive in these trade talks because you're expecting to get him in the offseason. That's not going to happen. Sorry, but if there is no trade that happens this Thursday, which I don't think that'll happen, I think there will be a trade.
Okay.
And the Knicks aren't the ones to make it because of their non-aggressive play style. I'm sorry, but you can't blame anybody for the way that your guys' season ends. If you guys are the same without experimenting with this Giannis thing, except for yourselves.
So I gotta ask, do you think the Knicks can potentially make it, let's say, to the finals, or how far do you think their ceiling is going to be a lot higher if they end up, because I've seen everyone sees the predicted trades for Giannis to go to the Knicks. You're obviously looking at Cat's going to be gone. Mm-hmm. It's going to be between OG and Bridges. One of the two will probably get shipped off.
It's got to be Bridges.
Right?
It's got to be.
And then you're probably looking at McBride, then you lose two of your depth guards. You say like Kolek, Didet, or Yabusele.
Yeah.
You're going to look at a few guys. So do you think if you lose those guys, their ceiling's going to be higher? Because there is something to be said about that locker room and the depths and how they've played together. I mean, you saw it in the Cup where they did really well as a team. Do you think they're better off without that depth and those players for one guy?
Here's what I'll say. Anything is better than that man Doc Rivers. And Mike Brown, I'm sure he's already had some weird, love-hate relationship, probably with Knicks fam, because they let go of Tibbs. But he is phenomenally a better situation, coaching-wise, for Giannis than Doc Rivers is right now. Not to mention, your floor would be much higher. Your floor with this Knicks team is higher with the Knicks than it is with South Beach, which we'll get to that. But the Knicks right now, I see their ceiling at least rising up. It has to go up at least 2 tiers.
No,
it has to. When you have a guy like Giannis on your team, it's not like the same situation where Dame and Giannis are just going tit for tat and then that's it. Mm-hmm. It's not, because the pieces that were around Dame and Giannis are nowhere near around at least the things that you guys would still be remaining with if you guys gave up a Bridges, if you guys gave up a McBride. I think that, yes, you guys will be dwindled. And you guys might have to start being concerned about the Giannis injuries in the postseason and stuff. But I just think it might be a better situation.
Okay. No, that I hear you there. At least with that. Looking for aside from the Knicks, obviously, like we said, we have the Warriors, you have Minnesota, you have Miami. I I know the Warriors probably, there were talks that if they're going to make their big offer, it's going to be mainly pick heavy because they have a lot to give from the pick side, whereas Minnesota would be more player centric. You're looking at, in my opinion, I feel like Randall, McDaniels.
Sure, yeah. That's cool.
What's the best, in your opinion, if you could pick a spot right now, do you think would be the best for...
Oh, if I'm Giannis.
If you're... Well, I want to... If you think... You could either go if you're Giannis or if you're the Bucks who you want to make this trade. Because they are sending counter offers.
Okay. I think that, without a doubt, Miami's out.
Okay.
Miami is so out. Because...
Wow.
Because what are you not only getting as the Bucks franchise, you are getting... Hayward Highsmith, a first-round pick swap, maybe not even Jaime Jaquez, Khalil Ware. You're not giving up Norman Powell. You just got him.
Don't forget about Tyler Hero.
Tyler Hero, I guess. And then for Giannis, if I'm going from Milwaukee to Miami, bro, that's just sunny side Milwaukee. You're not getting any better with Miami than you are with Milwaukee. Sure, Spoelstra might be phenomenally better than even Mike Brown and whatever other coach you get in the East. He's probably still the best coach, I would say, in the NBA.
Okay.
Mark Dagnall, I mean,
yeah,
you could argue there, but you don't do anything special in Miami. I'm sorry, but it doesn't do anything different. It doesn't move the situation anywhere else in a positive or a negative direction.
Okay.
You stay in the middle. You stay in purgatory.
So Miami's out.
Miami's out.
Okay.
Minnesota, that's interesting. And Giannis, that's low-key Shaq and Kobe.
That's dangerous.
That's Shaq and Kobe for me. In the modern NBA, that's Shaq and Kobe. Now, what will you get on as your side pieces? What are you going to get? Are you going to keep McDaniels? He's probably gone in a situation like that. I mean, you still got Dante. You still got...
You do got Dante.
You got Dante. You got maybe Gobert if he stays. I think that there are going to be a lot of holes, kind of similar to what we got in a New York situation, but might be a better 1-2 punch.
Okay.
This is the one, though.
Oh, we have a one.
This is the one, man. It's time. It's time, ladies and gentlemen. Since 2019, this was promised to the Warriors.
Oh boy.
Since that lob by Stephen Curry, Wardell, man, I truthfully believe that Giannis is going to be a Golden State Warrior.
Wow.
I think Giannis is going to be a Golden State Warrior by this Thursday. They have the best. I know they're like, Tate just said, who are we going to get? Kuminga? You have so many with that the Warriors can give out. The Warriors can give out the most amount of picks besides a Portland. Besides a Portland who has their own picks, who has Milwaukee's picks from the Drew Holiday trade. You can get so many valuable picks because you have an aging Steph Curry, because you have an aging Draymond Green, because you don't know what the future of this team is going to look like after the Steph Curry era. But if you can get one, and if you're Giannis, and if you're looking at who have I always said I wanted to play with,
that's fair.
I think it's gonna. I think that's what's probably going to happen by this Wednesday or Thursday.
Okay. And if that does happen, you think where do the Warriors? Where does the ceiling and the floor go for the Warriors? Obviously, very competitive West.
Ceiling. For me, the ceiling is Western Conference Finals.
Okay.
I don't think they got enough to make it past the finals.
I feel like that's fair. I mean,
but I'll tell you what, if they do and Giannis wins a Finals MVP, there's going to be disgusting conversations about when Steph has a guy that's just as good as he is. The 1A, 1B conversations, that's over. You can't tell me that Steph Curry can't operate just as well with a guy like a Kevin Durant, like a Giannis, with him being the main guy. Unless it's an Andrew Wiggins, or unless it's someone else that's going to be below him in that tier list, in that hierarchy of players in the NBA, because I just think that's fair. I'm not saying that's a knock against Curry in the fact that he can play really well off the ball, but if Giannis wins that Finals MVP on that team, there needs to be a conversation about.
Okay.
how much does this guy have to defer for his team to be successful? But that's
Is that from any Kevin Durant bias at all? For that
absolutely not.
Okay,
That's just from Kevin Durant truth.
All right.
From the truth. But
We had to ask that question.
of course. Yeah, we actually though.
Yeah, I was gonna say before we move on to the next thing, don't let me or you or any of us tell you where Giannis is going.
Yep.
We have Kalshi did the statistics.
Yes.
And we have got a wheel here which has the statistical probabilities all mapped out for Giannis's trade. The wheel will tell us where Giannis is going.
The fabled wheel. And to just remind you, the chances on Kalshi are currently the Bucks is the team that Giannis stays with. It's about 40% on Kalshi right now.
Roughly 40.
And then you have the Miami Heat and the Golden State Warriors on top, and then you have teams like the Knicks, the Bulls, the Portland Trail Blazers, and so on. So,
all right.
For those stat nerds out there, for those Jokic fans, here you go.
You ready? You want to spin this one? Here we go.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wow.
Giannis is going.
So, according to the wheel, Giannis is going to be in Minnesota. That's a deadly combo. Wow. I'm telling you right now, Shaq and Kobe comparisons will be made if that's the case.
That is unbelievable.
Hey man, you can't blame the stats.
The wheel doesn't lie.
You're gonna argue with the stats? I don't know if you can. But
on Thursday, when Giannis is inevitably,
y'all better watch out. I'm the truth.
You're the truth.
When he's inevitably in a Wolves uniform, man.
We'll see. I might be gross, but at least he keeps his number 34.
That's true.
But moving on.
Yeah.
Moving on. We got some all-stars coming in. About a week ago, or week and a half ago, we got our starters for this all-star game for this Team USA and Team World format, which I still have my reservations about. We know who those starters are, and we got the starters. We got the starters about what, today, yesterday? I don't even remember. This morning, I think. And we got some noticeable guys that should have been there, whose people think that maybe they could have been starters, like Anthony Edwards or, Kevin Durant. I mean, to a degree, LeBron James, I guess, for the legacy.
Yeah.
And then you have some other guys like Karl Anthony Towns, Donovan Mitchell, and so on. But one guy that kind of stood out from the rest, that kind of felt like the black sheep in a way. Mr. Gonzaga himself, Chet Holmgren, is a first-time NBA All-Star, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't know. It really feels like the little brother that you have to bring along just because.
Yep.
I don't know how he gets put up there. I get he doesn't have a bad stat line. It's not like, he's doing
I guess.
terrible.
What is he averaging, 17?
Yeah, it's something. It's it's above average stat line, but there are other guys. I mean, come on.
There are tons of other guys
that should be in that spot.
I said this earlier in pre-production. I think that a guy like Şengün just put up 39 and 16 tonight. Chet Holmgren, I don't think has sniffed a 40-point game. Maybe I could be wrong.
I get you.
What's Chet's Holmgren career high?
Career high. Here we go. His career high, it says, is going to be 36.
36? All right, and Şengün put up 9 today. Why are we getting the third guy on the food chain? Why are we giving that guy the all-star nod instead of the guys that are number ones on their team, number twos on their team? Not just normal not just like you got your Chris Middletons or whatever. No, I'm talking about real stud number twos. Like Dylan Brooks, who I think he's been having the best year of his career. And I won't say that the Houston and Phoenix trade was a win for either side. And I think that's amazing to say if you're a Suns fan, because Dylan Brooks has showcased that he is not just the guy that's going to bark in your face and be the pseudo Patrick Beverly. No, he got 40 He got 40 without Devin Booker the other day. And he's talking his game. And I think he's deserving of this spot. The Suns are currently 7th, tied for 6th, I think.
Yeah. It's interesting because obviously, there's a lot of people voting for All-Stars, and you talk about the fans are a big part of it.
Yeah.
But if you were to just go by stats alone, just for your Şengün pick over Chet, if you look at it, obviously, yes, Şengün has, I think, 5 more minutes on average in the regular season. He is leading in points. He's leading in rebounds. He's leading in assists. He's leading in.
What are we doing?
He's leading in steals, and he's even leading. It looks, the only thing Chet is above him in is blocks.
Cool. You can sit in the paint while Isaiah Hartenstein clogs it up. Cool. You can get help blocks when Lou Dort is playing linebacker on your best player. That's so cool. But Chet Holmgren, I'm sorry, but you are not deserving of this spot over Dylan Brooks, Şengün, Kawhi, Harden. You are not deserving over those guys right now because you haven't showcased that you can be the second best player on this team. That's always been J-Dub. You had your best opportunity to showcase that in the playoffs last year, and the best thing that you could do was swivel your feet at the perimeter. Besides that, you haven't done anything to deserve this spot. We just said that your career high was 36 points. How is a guy that's scoring 36 points your NBA All-Star reserve? What are we doing? Let
it all out, Tony.
Maybe the NBA just loves the Thunder and they really want to push this dynasty agenda so that they can have the Steph, Clay, Dre picture that the Warriors had a long time ago. But it's okay. It's okay not to push it. And clearly, like you said, maybe they're still hanging on to the Wemby and Chet thing.
Yeah, no, right? Like, why else? Obviously, Chet and Wemby, that was a very short-lived drama. I don't think anyone thought it was going to be Chet going over Wemby. By the end of the season, it's done. Wemby owns him even this season. It's not even close. Like, there's no reason to keep it alive at this point. Especially, they're on the same team, too. So, like, what?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm gonna calm down now.
Take a breather, Harry.
Because we get hype on this show because these things do matter to us. We do have these strong opinions. So I needed to get that out. But also, Pascal Siakam, why are you an All-Star this year?
Just catching strays.
I guess, sure.
But on a terrible team. Just
it's whatever. Good for you, man. Good for you. You're repping the teams.
Yeah.
You know what else might be repping teams coming up pretty soon here? We're going to actually switch to a different sport here that we got right here at our alma mater. SC football, not just SC football, college football in general. Starting August, USC football uniforms and also college football uniforms in the NCAA and in Division I football are going to be able to have brand patches.
Really?
Corporation badges. And you might see teams repping McDonald's. You might see us repping In-N-Out, as Kyle was said in pre-production.
Yeah.
And the limit of those badges are up to 2 badges.
Okay.
So not only are you going to have your SEC badge or your Big Ten badge, you're going to have your league badge. You're going to have your corporation badges, which could be up to 2, and then you have your Nike badge or your Jordan badge, depending if you're UCLA or the Baby Bruins. But
we're going to look like NASCAR drivers on that.
We're seeing that in the Super Bowl clearly right now.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. I feel like the college football landscape with this NIL stuff and even USC announcing on their Instagram that we're going to start announcing we're getting our players back by re-signing them. That we re-sign Jaden Mayala.
Yeah, the language is changing too, like you're saying.
It's changing, and I just want to ask you, how close is college football getting to becoming a pro league rather than college sports?
It's scarily close, right? Like the NIL thing just started it, and this patch thing is making it even more. It's like in professional league. You got guys entering transfer portals, which is like trading.
It's trading. You got coaches leaving too.
Yeah, you have coaches getting treated like they're professional coaches. Like there's nope, you lost this one, gone, goodbye. Like you have all these things. It really does feel like a professional sports league. You have players who are now starting. Obviously, they're not getting paid to the extent of like a $40 million.
Sure,
but
you're not getting a minimum, contract deal in the NFL.
But these aren't like
But they're not chump changes.
They're not
either.
chump change. Like we're getting paid decent $1 million contracts and stuff like that for these guys, and the patch sponsorships, which that's all money making moves, right?
It is.
So it feels less now about getting these players ready to go into the professional leagues as it used to, and more about we're going to make the money while you're here. And frankly, some of these guys don't even have to go to the league if they don't want to any league. They could just go, all right, 4 big years, retire with the money, and go do anything else.
They really could. And yeah, might that be good for the athletes? Sure. But is that good to view this sport that we know and love, that is sacred and is almost spoken in a way that is kind of like a religion, where you have people doing these ceremonies like tailgating outside of the Coliseum, or you have people repping their team, taking their parents around to show them what the school pride is like when it's college day, and I just really want to know if this is a good thing. It might be a good thing, a profitable thing down the line, but I think that people are going to start really viewing this league, this division of football, as not college related at all. Like that these aren't student athletes,
right?
That they're professional athletes.
Yeah,
that they're
no,
in the real world, and that they don't have to go to class.
And you see them get treated like that though too, right? Good game, bad game. They're either celebrity, they're hated.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. People forget that, and I mean the whole culture is changing, right? You got these teams with just all these guys. Oh, I just lost my train of thought.
No, you're good. You're good.
Say, but yeah, it's the whole culture, man. Is just totally flipped.
It's shifting, and I don't know what's gonna happen. Clearly that this patch thing just means that the inevitable is going to happen, where they're going to milk the cow as much as they can until it's completely dried up. And where is that going to result in? Is that going to result in exhaustion from college or student athletes? Are student athletes going to feel like that they don't have a obligation to feel like that they need to go to the NFL anymore? Like, can they just say, you know what? I called it a career in college because I made enough money to give my family generational wealth. You know what? That's cool. That's great. Amazing. But is that the dream? Is that the dream that you envisioned when you were growing up watching the NFL as a kid on the couch saying, okay, well, what's my path to this? How can I get this? Oh, I'll go to college, and they'll spot me then, and I still got to really fight tooth and nail for my piece of the pie.
Yeah.
But now you're a part of the pie. You're a part of the product. And so I'm just a little concerned what it's going to do. And these little subliminal things like the corporation badges kind of add to my fear.
Well, yeah, and I mean you're losing the traditional rivalries. You had the switching of conferences, right? Leaving into the Big Ten, and like you lose a lot of the that was a money move by all means, and like you're seeing a lot more of these cavalier money moves, right? I don't think anyone thought, oh, Pac-12, goodbye. Your USC's not going to play Notre Dame anymore. I mean, these things are all. It feels like money moves. They feel like there's some interesting things. You could talk about all the rules that they're adding in, and like the Notre Dame rule for next year is hysterical. We're guaranteeing you a spot. Stop that.
Go ahead. Get your guaranteed 12 spot if you guys get there, sure, with your Mickey Mouse schedule.
It just feels like a product. I do want to actually go back to the patches because I am curious with your opinion on this. I know we got barely any time. Do you think USC fills out that second patch spot? I gotta know.
Oh my
Second
gosh.
best, you get 2. We have 1.
I think USC is such a good example, though. We don't have our players' jerseys on the name. Sorry, our players' names on the jerseys. And so if you take that away with corporation and more stuff being added to the jersey rather than just the traditional form of, you know, being a player at SC, I feel like it'd be really weird if we got more than one. I'd start feeling like it's a downward spiral and it's just gonna start snowballing.
Yeah.
But that's all the time that we got on this segment. So tune in. We're gonna be back in a couple minutes. Or I'm just hearing from my producers now.
Maybe not.
Maybe we'll come back to you soon. Wednesday, same time this week. Come see it. Thank you guys for seeing the first episode of the show. I'm Tony.
I'm Jonathan. Signing off.
Sayonara.